What's up, Trekkies? I'm Brogyn Gage here for the Red Carpet Report. Tonight we are at the Paley Center for Media in Beverly Hills for the launch of Star Trek, The Art of Juan Ortiz. That's right, Star Trek. He took the first 80 episodes of the original series and turned them all into original posters. They're 60s inspired, they're fun, they're groovy, they're trippy. Let's go take a look and geek out. All right, so you've taken a look at all the posters so far. Do you have a favorite?
I haven't looked at them so far. I just got here about 15 minutes ago, and they're so magnificent. It takes me about 15 minutes per per poster. I just love this one.
This is a pretty special one. This is you. I think they did a pretty great job.
Yes, I have to have that one.
Definitely. And do you have a favorite moment from your time working on Star Trek?
Oh,
favorite
gosh.
memory?
There were so many. Of course, that was one, and we had fun, doing it, which was, I didn't know at the time, was the first interracial kiss on television. I thought, you gotta be joking. No, it isn't. There was, there was, and
Oh, wait.
and sure enough, it was at first, and I was so involved in creating the character, and each episode was better than the last one. We had just fine writers, and Gene Roddenberry just knew exactly what he wanted to achieve, and it was. I don't know which one I liked the best.
We can go with this one. That's a pretty good one.
Oh, that's.
I'm sure it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And so I know, or I heard that you originally didn't know if you wanted to stay on after the first season. So was there something that made you change your mind?
Oh. Yes. I was. Oh. Yes. I was. It came from out of theater, and I had an opportunity to go to New York, go on Broadway.
Oh, wow.
Again, and I was just thrilled, and off I was going, and someone says, you can't do that. Now, who was that? I met Dr. Martin Luther King. That was it. And I was so, when you meet Dr. Martin Luther King for the first time, you don't know him.
Right.
It's like, gulp, gulp. And the first things he says to me is, I'm your greatest fan.
Oh, wow.
And I just about fainted, And we're talking, and I'm still thinking about my career, what everything is everything, but you look forward to your next thing to do. And I was invited, hadn't been cast yet, but invited because someone wanted me in one of the shows in New York. Wow. Since this high, yes, I'm going to Broadway. And I was so thrilled, and I was getting ready to leave in a couple of days. I've given everybody.
So it was finalized.
Oh yeah, it was. It wasn't finalized. They were bringing me into New York, and to talk with me about it. And I said to myself, whatever they want, yes. And I'm getting ready to go to New York when I meet Dr. Martin Luther King. And I'm trying to think how I met him. It just seems like whenever I'm thinking about it, bing, there, we are in this situation. And first thing he said to me, I'm your biggest fan. Oh, knees buckle. And he's telling me about episodes.
Wow.
And so
he was a Trekkie.
He was a Trekkie and loved being called that. Don't call him a Trekker. He's a Trekkie. And he says, my whole family is Art Trekkies.
That's awesome.
He says, the only thing is they're not going to believe that I met you. I'm thinking,
And you're like, the pleasure
they're
is
not
all
going
mine.
to believe I met you. and I wound up, the circumstances came that I was going to be in the town where he lived. And I was invited to his home,
No.
Dr. Martin Luther
Wow.
King. And I'm like, I'm good. I get there and they go, oh, I can't believe you're in our house. They're big trekkers.
That's amazing.
and we were friends from that day on.
That's amazing.
And the day he died, I thought I would die. When I came home from Canada, I think I had been, or England, and it was not possible, And I called his family, went down to see them, and it's just impossible.
Well, it's
It's
amazing that you guys got to
incredible
share that bond with each other.
Oh yes, yeah.
And bringing it on to today, do you keep up to date with the Star Trek? Do you watch the new stuff that's going on right now, or do you like to keep it old school?
There is no old school. There
The
is
original. The original.
I'm delighted with both. I'm delighted that I was given the opportunity and came along at the time for the first, to be involved in that first. But I was equally as happy. And each thing that happened, it was happening to Star Trek. That was my Star Trek. I see you've joined us, Yeah. And it was funny that, and charming that in each Star Trek new endeavor, they were Trek fans.
Right.
Yes. And many times, by the time I met them, I was a fan of theirs. and so that's rather nice. That's rather marvelous.
Right.
Because show business isn't always exactly like that.
Yeah, it isn't always
Yeah.
friendly.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me. It was
It's
a
a-
pleasure
it's a-
meeting you. The exhibit is in Beverly Hills until January, but if you cannot make it out here, you can go and buy the book I think they're called bookstores, if those still exist. Otherwise, go to Amazon.com and you will be sure to find it.